What drew me to the field of early childhood was an experience I had my freshman year of college. I was going to school for an English degree to teach high school English, and I took a job at the child care center on campus to help pay my tuition. I had a lot of experience with kids. I babysat, I coached Little League soccer, I coached Little League softball, I worked for a summer park district program. So I figured it would be an okay way to make some extra money. And what I found was that I loved it. I really enjoyed being with the kids. I enjoyed playing and running around with them. And so I changed my major and started on early childhood associates. And so I spent 2.5 years working at the child care center and going to school. I went from being a student worker to a teacher's assistant to a teacher. And now I'm a lead teacher with director qualifications. Um, and over the past 29 years that I've been doing this, I've really developed a passion for it that um, I enjoy seeing the expression on an infant's face the first time they find an object that's been hidden under a blanket, or the when the 3-year-old shouts, "Look, it's an A, it's my name, it's Andrew," and is pointing to the wall where it says all about me. Um, I've worked with every age group, from infant all the way up through pre-K, and each one has offered me new experiences, new insights, but collectively, they've all just proved to me that I made the right decision in going into the profession of early childhood. I believe that an early childhood professional has many chief responsibilities. First and foremost would be the safety of the children in the classroom, not just their physical safety, but their emotional safety as well. I believe it's my responsibility to create warm, respectful relationships with the children and family in my care. That means I need to be engaging in culturally and linguistically appropriate practices and learning about each child and their family, their backgrounds, their culture, beliefs, values, goals, and to be sure that I'm adhering to the highest standards of confidentiality. It means I need to become an effective communicator, a good listener. I believe it's my responsibility to use the knowledge that I have of early childhood development and developmentally appropriate practices to guide my planning and my decisions during my day and how I interact with each child and family. I believe it's my responsibility to be aware of issues, especially issues for social change in the field of early childhood, and to find ways that I can help make changes, um, actions that I can take either globally or even just in my day to day practice. Um, and I, I believe I'm responsible for reflecting on my practice, that I need to take a look at what works, what doesn't, where I can make changes, and to keep learning what I can through research and collaboration with other professionals so that I can continue to grow and reach my potential in my practice. I view collaboration as a vital component of professional practice in early childhood. Most learning is a social experience, whether it's a child working with a teacher or a teacher working with a family, or even if it's a collection of early childhood professionals working together. First, collaboration between an early childhood professional and families is critical to children's success. Research has shown that children do better when early childhood professionals and families work together. The field's changed from being the teacher having the role of expert and the parent and family having the role of the follower and just following the lead of the professional to being a partnership between the teacher and the family. Since the family is the expert on the child and the teacher has the knowledge of child development and developmentally appropriate practice. Collaboration within individual classrooms and between classrooms in a center is equally as important. Staff need to be able to work together to create a positive learning environment. Um, Professionals benefit from each other's different perspectives. It can be used for problem solving. For example, I know that a coworker has insights on cultural insights on a family and their reasons for the way they're approaching their child's learning that I may not have, and that teacher and I can work together to help me understand so that I can create a better relationship and a better understanding of how to go about planning and implementing meaningful learning experiences for that child and family. There are times when early childhood professionals need to collaborate with other professionals. For instance, a physical therapist or an occupational therapist or a speech pathologist, because a child in the class may have some special challenges and circumstances that they're working on. These interdisciplinary teams are critical in ensuring high quality inclusive care and education because each team member brings a different knowledge base and a different skill set that's necessary to provide a well-rounded view of what the best plan for that child may be. And overall, collaboration is important to the profession because no one person has all the right answers in regards to education. Um, those answers are all made up from the different perspectives and the different information and knowledge that each person brings to the table. I employ several strategies to ensure that I am reflecting critically on my growth as a professional. I reflect on my daily classroom practices, looking at the meaningful learning experiences that I'm providing, what worked, what didn't, taking notes and possible changes that I could make to maybe make it go better the next time. I identify situations that come up that may have been challenging. I analyze them, what occurred, how did I handle it, how could I approach it differently next time. I had an incident that occurred with one of my oldest pre-K kids. He had been playing in the kitchen with a little boy who just turned 4 and moved into our class that week. And the older boy was taking cues from the littler guy. And instead of modeling the appropriate mature behavior, was responding by copying the younger boy's behavior. And after reminding him several times about what appropriate play for 4-year-olds looks like, I found that I couldn't couldn't change what he was doing, and so I moved him to another play area. And later that day, after reflecting back on the incident, I determined I could have handled that a little bit differently. I could have gone over and joined the play and modeled that appropriate behavior myself. And then it would have become a learning opportunity for both of the boys. And so I think reflection is very important in that aspect. In addition to reflecting on my daily practices, I seek out new information and different perspectives. I read articles and books. I participate in discussions with coworkers, with other colleagues from within my community of early childhood professionals. I attend conferences and workshops to gain information and new viewpoints. And then I try to integrate what I learn into my own work. I frequently ask others to observe and assess what I'm doing in my classroom. Um, I use their feedback to analyze my practice and to look not only for my weaknesses, but my strengths as well. And then I use those strengths to find ways to address my challenges and further my growth in my practice. Advocacy is a hallmark of the early childhood profession because of the need for social change in many areas of the field. Some of these may include affordability, accessibility, um, better wages for professionals in the field, and the lack of federal cohesiveness on what high quality care and education even looks like. Advocacy itself is speaking out to create changes in policies and programming to make the world a better place. If the heart of the early childhood profession is creating environments and opportunities for children and families to have the best possible outcomes, that would mean that advocacy would clearly be a necessary component. Advocacy occurs on many levels in this profession. It's more than just professionals speaking out to make public policy changes. It's also advocating on the smaller scale, sometimes even just one child at a time. It can be as simple as supporting a child by giving the family a phone number for a screening service, or having a conversation with a young single mother on the importance of self care in order to better care for her baby. Accessibility has long been and is still one of those social change that's necessary in early childhood care and education. There's a lack of high quality yet affordable programs. Social injustice and inequality due to ethnic and socioeconomic factors combine with the high costs that create that need for social change. Early childhood professionals must advocate for the changes that remove the barriers standing between the minorities and high quality care and education. And at the same time, we must advocate for changes that will provide financial assistance to those children who are socioeconomically challenged. And this illustrates that there's many aspects to advocacy, that sometimes you're working on more than just one issue at a time, and that the issues intertwine, and why it's so important that each professional take a step and look at what they can do to help make those social changes. I am passionate about what I do. I love early childhood. I love children. I love families. I love getting to know them, being able to help them as much as possible. I enjoy learning new things about the field, reading the research, and am excited about different roles and ways that I can become more involved, become a greater advocate for the profession, for the field. I look forward to the opportunities to new roles, to learn, to grow. I want to say thank you for your time and the opportunity to meet and discuss what I feel I bring to the table of early childhood on a regular basis, and what I can bring
in the future.